This is Cameron.
And this is Hannah.
And we are fighting for the final marriage. And we're just back, with another video. This time we're going to talk about, the basics of what courtship is, what a courtship looks like, why even be in a courtship, and how you can have a courtship too. I think that, especially with the last part, that you can have a courtship too. It's a huge thing on my heart because a lot of times, people have been seeing our videos now and they've been, seeing us around and they're like, hey, I saw your videos, this inspired me. But it's more of a thing of this is great for you, but I couldn't do this type thing. And that really breaks my heart because, that's the whole point of us expressing it in this way and us really God grooming us to even have this kind of relationship so we can show other people that, you can do this too. You can live for God. And you can honor God, with your relationships as well. And so, I really want you guys to be so encouraged and use these videos and use these things as kind of like encouragement, but also information for yourself. Like, this is tangible for you,
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so tangible. If you would have asked me, did I ever think I would be like where I am now, like courting, not, doing everything by the book, and by the book I mean the Bible, doing everything by the book and not, deviating from it, I would have told you, heck no. But it's very much so, like she said, it's very much so tangible, it's very attainable, it's very fun at the same time. Like it's so much freedom in it, it's so much joy, and I've developed a real passion for it, like, living this life and living the way that I'm supposed to. It's possible.
Yeah.
It really is.
I think that, you can get into a place of, in your mind, like, okay, well, I know that I might not be where God wants me to be right now. I know that I'm kind of doing what I want to do, but I kind of like being where I am, I kind of have a problem with it, and that's exactly where I was too. Like, before I got saved for real, like, I knew God, but I didn't know God. And so, when my faith got tested, I didn't have no faith. And so I got into a place where I was having sex regularly. I was with people who I knew wasn't gonna be my husband, and I was just doing whatever I wanted to do. And I was okay with it after a while. I was like, okay. And I kind of became okay with the fact that, like, I felt like I was never going to be able to do what God wanted me to do exactly, and I kind of got comfortable in that place. It sounds so terrible, but I really did. I was like, okay, well, I done messed up. I'm not a virgin no more. I'm not pure no more. God really, how he gonna use me? I'm dirty. I got comfortable in the fact that, like, oh well, I just messed it up and I'm gonna have to live a mediocre life. But he really showed me that, through, random people, random relationships, and random just him loving me, that I realized that he can really wash you and make you new and give you a second chance, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, whatever chances. He is the God that makes you over. And so now, I got to a place where he took the desire away from me to just be, I guess, worldly, to just be, doing what I wanted to do and being who I wanted to be with. And he's like, I have a life for you, and you're gonna live this life because it's for you, And it's so amazing because, as soon as I was like, okay, God, I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing, to try it your way. I'm willing to deny myself. I'm willing to try, and then he helps you, but he's not gonna help you if you don't want no help. If you don't want to, be active in it. And as soon as I tell you, as soon as I said that, you know, here come Cameron. And so, you know, he really, you know, he can do it. It's just a matter of you being willing and being open to submitting to him and the things that he has for you. But so what is a courtship? When people ask me that, I'll, like, if I say, you know, I'm in a courtship or whatever, they'll be like, squirrel? Like, what is that? What is a courtship? So what would you say a courtship is?
I don't know. Like, every time I explain it, I try to keep it as basic. I try to keep the explanation of it as basic as possible. And so all I would tell them is more of an intentional dating. It's more of a God-led, God-centered, God-ordained, you know, dating. So everything that you do is led by him. It's not always going to fit what somebody else is doing, but it fits what God wants you to do.
I would say the same thing. It really is an intentional, you know, an intentional process. You have to be really, it's a dating with purpose. Yeah. Sometimes in a world, you date with the purpose of being with this person and getting to know them and sleeping with them or whatever. But the purpose, you know, of this dating is to glorify God and to, you know, honor God with your life and your body and all those things. The purpose is just to, you know, have a godly marriage. Because God loves marriage. God is marriage. And so, doing it God's way. So one of the reasons why I did want to talk about this topic is because, you know, I have been speaking to different people, you know, just randomly about, you know, what courtship is and what it isn't, and, you know, my courtship or whatever. And I think some people just have the wrong idea about it, you know. So I just kind of want to make this video to clarify on both sides, you know, what it really is. I was talking to this girl. I don't know if I told you about this, but I was talking to this girl. I'm not gonna say who it is. And you know, I was bringing up what a courtship was and that I was courting whatever. And she was like, okay, so what is a courtship? And she asked the question, I realized, because she's dating somebody, but she wanted to understand if what I was doing is the same thing as what she was doing. And so I explained to her, you know, it's a godly dating situation. God brings you together and you just do things, you know, in order to glorify God or in order to honor each other so that we can, you know, you're just fighting to be married, you know, but it's all God's way. And she was like, okay, so, you know, what do you do? And I was like, well, there's certain things that we don't do. Like, we don't sleep together. We don't, you know, of course, we don't have sex. We don't, you know, we just have a lot of boundaries. So, like, maybe we won't be with each other at certain times of the night, or we won't touch each other a certain way, or we won't, you know, whatever it is, in order to help ourselves not to slip up and fall into sin. And so she's like, okay, well, I'm courting too, you know. And after, you know, we had been talking for a while, and basically, you know, she's in a place where she's not really with the whole God thing right now. And so it's kind of like, you can't really be courting if God didn't ordain it, you know. So she really thought she was courting. She's like, well, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, you know, I'm not doing this. You know, so technically I am. And, you know, it's not really just about not doing stuff. It's not about not having sex. It's not about not touching each other. It's not about just the boundaries, you know. It's the whole package. And so the whole package, I believe, looks like, even from day one, is this the person for you? Because a lot of times, you know, you feel like, you know, you want this person so bad, and you see a person you want to be with, and, you know, this person likes you, this person is a good person, y'all together, whatever. You know, this has to be a God thing, you know, because nothing bad is happening here. And you have to question, you know, is this a God thing? And you probably already know the answer. If you didn't even ask God if you could be with him or if you could be with her, if you didn't even, you know, if you're not even in God, like if you're not even trying to search for God, you know, and your relationship is really just self-satisfying, you know, how can he have any say in that, you know? And so you have to start there. Is this the person God told me to be with? And that's very hard, because sometimes you're already in relationships with people for months, years, and you might realize, okay, this isn't who God told me to be with, but I love them, you know, we're connected now. And, you know, you gotta make that sacrifice. If you want to glorify God, if you want to live a life that he actually planned out for you and made for you, you gotta be willing to, you know, sacrifice. And so, you know, that's just part of the whole Christian life. Like, it's not just roses and daisies and blessings coming down and whatever. Like, it's a dying to yourself. So that's the first step, I would say. Did God ordain you to? Anything you want to say about that?
You hit it off. You took it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's like what she was saying about how what differentiates a courtship from, what makes a courtship different from somebody who's just, you know, we're not having sex, we're not doing this, you know, we're saving ourselves for marriage, da da da. The biggest difference, the biggest indicator is, you know, is God in it. If God ain't in it, you're just playing games. You know, you're not having sex, you're not doing all this stuff just because you don't want to, not because it's going to glorify anything, but it's just it's still a healthy sacrifice, but it's not something that's necessarily going to be honored if you do get married, because that's not the person you're supposed to be with in the first place.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is. Maybe you just lucked up, and despite, you know, not having a healthy relationship with God, you found the right person. Good for you. But
yeah, even if you did find the right person, though, you also need to ask yourself, is this the right time?
True.
Because a lot of times, you know, we can be with people, and this person, you might feel like this person is your whole life. And if this person wants to ever leave you, you will be destroyed, torn up, whatever. And that's not how it's supposed to be either. You know, this person isn't supposed to be your everything. They're supposed to complement you, and they're supposed to enhance what you already have going on. And if you ain't got nothing going on, then what are they really there for, you know? And so, if you aren't able to be, like, alone, as, like, single and not talking to anybody, you know, that's a place to check yourself. Like, okay, this might be a void for me. This might be something that I need to bring to God. Like, I can't be alone. That's a huge thing too. I can't be alone. You know, sometimes we feel people, you know, in those spaces where I feel like, you know, I'm lonely. I can't be alone. I need somebody. I need, you know, to feel that human interaction or whatever. And that's really, you know, a God void, you know. That's why you can be with somebody and still feel that emptiness. You can be having sex, you can have everything that this person, you can have everything that this person can offer you, but you're still, you know, you're still mad, you're still fussing, you're still uncomfortable, you're still empty, because it's not a person-sized void, it's a God-sized void. You really need, you know, God to fill you.
That's true. Something that she just said, I think it brings us to the next point, as she was saying the timing. And so the first part would be, you know, the first indicator of courtships, or, you know, the first, you know, steps to process to courtships. You know, the first one would be God, and the second thing would be timing. Is it the right timing? Am I in the right place? Am I mature enough to be with anybody right now? Do I need to work on myself? Do I need to fix some problems with me? Or is it okay to go ahead and move forward with this? And so with that, you know, as she was saying, you got to check, you know, why am I really wanting to be with somebody? Is it because, you know, I just need somebody to be around? Is it because I like the company? Is it because, you know, I don't like sleeping alone? Whatever it is, why do you want to be with someone? If you don't want to be with that person because, you know, you feel like God is telling you to, or you feel like, you know, y'all have something that y'all could accomplish together, you know, as far as like either ministry or even just something that, you know, y'all both complement each other with, then I don't believe that y'all should be, I don't believe it's time yet. You both need to work on yourselves. You know, work on being complete and work on being whole before you jump into a relationship with somebody, because those areas where you're weak, it's just going to be magnified in the relationship. And because I think courtships are like a very, very small scale of marriage. And so just like as a marriage, you know, people get married in the first year, they realize all these terrible things about the person that they're with. You know, it's the same thing with the courtship. Like, you get in the relationship and the things, like the small areas where you were weak become magnified on a small scale, but so they become magnified so much that it becomes reoccurring. Like, if it's a problem, it will become reoccurring that you're not caring, reoccurring that you're selfish, or that you're, you know, whatever. And so you have to really work on yourself before you even step into it, because trust me, if you got a problem, it's go show quick.
Yeah. And what he means about working on yourself is really not like, okay, let me get my attitude together. It's really he means like you need to get a relationship with God and allow him to work on you. Y'all work on yourselves together, you know, because you can't just fix yourself and be like, okay, well, I'm ready, you know. Now you have to be led by God. You have to be molded by God, because, you know, he's the only one who can prepare you correctly. If you don't have self-control, you know, before you get into a relationship, you get into the relationship and you can't even hear the voice of God, you know, leading you in the relationship, because the whole courtship is led by God. He'll tell you what not to do and what to do, you know, for your own sake. And so if I was so consumed with myself, you know, what I got going on and my needs and my whatever, or if I couldn't hear the voice of God telling me anything, then who knows what it would be. We've probably been sinned, messed up, backslidden 20,000 times, you know. Not even honoring God no more. It's not even for God no more, you know.
It's for me.
And so, yeah, like, you gotta, it's work, but you have to be able to look at yourself first and be with God and walk with God, so you both can fix yourself first, because you can't have a broken person and a broken person joining into this God glorifying thing, because it's just not gonna work. You have to become whole in God. They have to become whole in God, and then you can join and be whole together. Come on, let's bring out the fractions and the math, algebra. It just, you gotta be a whole person, you know.
Yeah. We hit, you know, three major things so far, which was, you know, was it ordained by God? Is it in the right timing? And are you where you need to be as far as a person? Like, are you whole, or do you still have some voice that you need to work out? And so I think moving to the next point would be, for me, or at least in my view, it would be the purpose, you know, behind you being in the courtship, or, you know, your intentions on being in the courtship. Like, what are you trying to get out of it? What are you trying to learn from it? What are you trying to progress into from it? And so for me as a man, I think the whole entire purpose of courtship is so that you begin to learn, one, what your eventual wife, you know, you get to learn her, you get to kind of experience on a small scale the way that she needs to be cared for, the way that she needs to be taken care of or provided for. And so you begin to learn, okay, well, this is how I need to handle this type of issue, or this is how I need to lead this person, because this is how she responds, or this is how we best get things accomplished. And so you have to be able to get to that point where you're you're growing daily in the way that you know, care for her as a man. I can't really speak for the woman, so I'll let her speak, but as a man, in your courtship, it should be a purpose of preparing you for when you do get married, because that's what it is for. And so you should constantly be preparing yourself in some type of way, even if it's just growing spiritually. That's preparation, because you have to be able to lead them as well spiritually when you do become married. And so I believe that one of the bigger things in courtship is, how are you preparing yourself? Where's your heart? Is your heart just, oh, I'm gonna do this just so we can get married, or am I doing this so that I can be fully prepared to do the things that God has for us to do when we do become married? Or else, you know, you might have a happy marriage, but it won't be as fulfilling. It won't be as, what's the word, effective as it's supposed to be, because your marriage is a ministry and you have to treat it as such.
It's also a time for you to fully assess the person and see if this, you know, is something that you want.
True.
If this is someone you want. So, you know, me and Cameron have spent countless nights, you know, just talking about everything, about every person, about every situation, just, you know, even small things, random stories about ourselves, and really being real and really being open and vulnerable and sharing, you know, everything, so he can properly assess who I am and what I have going on. He can properly assess my family. He can properly assess, you know, everything that I have going on, to see if he wants to add that with his life for the rest of his life, and vice versa. I think that a huge reason why courting is so needed and so necessary and so vital is because you can look at all these relationships going on in the world that don't have God. Look at TV, look at our own parents, our own, you know, family members. There is divorce running around rampant. There is, you know, infidelity. There's cheating. There's, you know, teen pregnancies. Not that, you know, y'all are wrong if y'all are teen pregnant, but I'm not trying to keep the cycle going. You know, there's so many things. You know, there are women who think that, you know, it's okay to be this strong, independent black woman. Can't nobody tell what to do because I'm just, you know, and you know, you're not allowing anybody to, you know, there's just so many cycles of craziness going on that don't have to be going on. There's so many things that are hindering us as a people, as a collective people, that don't have to be happening, you know. So I'm breaking generational curses. I'm, you know, killing all this extra stuff that's going on so that it's not continuing in my life. You're not gonna find me on Love and Hip Hop. You're not gonna find me on Maury chasing down no man. You're not gonna find me screaming and crying. You're not gonna find me trying to bust the windows out of his car. You're not gonna find me doing all this stuff because we are, you know, getting all these things out the way first. You know, we're getting all these things completed and finished, and you know, just protecting ourselves and our future now. You know, we're preparing for that now, and so that means we're not going to be up domestic violence, arguing, all that stuff, because I'm going to be able to say it now. If I know he crazy now, I'm not going to marry him if he crazy. You know, if I know he got anger issues, we're going to deal with it, you know, now. And if that's not dealable, then you know, and the same with me. If I'm crazy, he not gonna marry me. If I got stuff going on, we're gonna deal with it now before we bring it into our marriage, because we're being intentional and we have a purpose. We're not playing. You know, there's not no patty cake. Oh my God, he's so cute. Let's, you know, get married today and get divorced in 5 months. That's dead. It's enough of that going on. Like, we're not doing it. I'm not doing it. You know, and so this is a way that God ordained it. The world has brainwashed us into thinking that, you know, one night stands is cute, you know, or whatever. All this stuff, you know, no commitment, no waiting, but everything has to be now. Everything has to be right here. Everything has to be love me, take care of me, da, da, da. But there's no foundation. And so this is the foundation. We're going to have a marriage that lasts. You know, we're going to have, you know, strong children who, you know, listen to us and follow in the right footsteps. We're going to have a productive life, you know, because we are waiting on God, and we're listening to the voice of God, and we're honoring God, and we're killing ourselves, sacrificing ourselves, dying to ourselves to encompass the will of God. And that's the best life.
Yeah, it's
the best life.
It really is. Like, I'm not gonna go off on a tangent on that, but that's not what the video is about. But what she said about, you know, setting, this is basically the groundwork. You know, this is tilling the ground. You know, if you think about it in a farmer's sense, you're tilling the ground. That's what the purpose of courtship is. You know, you're tilling the ground. You're going in. You're finding all the rocks. You're finding all the weeds. You're finding all the, you know, the bad soil that's there, and you're working it to make it good.
That's good, Cameron.
And so what you have to do is you continue to go over that same ground multiple times, because every time you go back, you'll find something different. You either find something that, you know, changed for the good, or you'll find something, okay, this is still there, we gotta try something else. We gotta work this, we gotta get this rock out the ground, because the root is not, when we plant the seed, when it grows, it's not gonna have enough room to grow deep enough, and the root is just going to be easily removed when
Yes.
you know, hardship comes up.
Yes.
And so you have to continue to till your ground. This what we have, it's a land. It's a land given to us by God, and it's our job to take care of it. It's our job to till this land. It's our job to take care of it. It's our job to make this land fruitful. And we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Regardless of how hard it is, regardless of how much it may hurt when we find a root for either one of us, or we find, bad ground for either one of us, no matter how much it may hurt, we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather fix it now than have a marriage that's going through hell.
And that's amazing. And that's an amazing point. Like, if you are dating somebody now, a guy, if you're dating somebody right now, or if you're thinking about somebody or whatever, somebody's interested in you. So a lot of times I've seen, and this has happened to me too, where, one of those things will come up, like one of my insecurities will come up, or one of my flaws will come up, and the person dips, like they are out. They're like, I can't deal with this, you crazy, you got this going on. And the person is not willing to just, get down with you and to work with you and to, chase God with you and to sit and talk with you and to grow with you and to heal with you. But when you find a person who is willing to do that, like till the ground, like he said, and who is willing to, go through that, because it's dirty and it's messy and it's hard and it's gonna be tears, it's gonna be anger, it's gonna be whatever. But if you find somebody who is willing to do that with you, doing it God's way and with God, that's priceless, man. That's priceless. And that's how you'll have a person who will stay with you forever, because if they're willing to stay now and you're not having sex, so sex is not making him stay.
Ain't got no ring.
Sex is not making him stay. There's nothing holding him down. He could really get up and leave if he wanted to, but the fact that he is here and he is the fact that he is here and he is getting down the trenches with me and fighting like with me, just because he has a desire to, that's God. And that's the kind of person that you want to marry. In a woman and in a man, you want somebody who is willing to sacrifice for you, not because of what you have or what you can offer them, which is part of the significance of waiting till marriage, is to see and test and see if they're down for you, if they're down just for your pants, but if you find somebody who's willing to do that without the promise of something, then that's very valuable.
Yeah, that's real. So I can think of multiple times where she's been that for me, where she's we'll be either in the car or in the house just talking, and just really down, like really willing and ready to just roll up her sleeves and get dirty, as far as like helping me get through whatever I'm going through, or helping me see things the way that I need to see it, fixing my perspective on things, or even, dealing with things that I have a problem with. And so, again, like she said, she has no reason to stay. She ain't got no reason to do anything. She really has, like, nothing to expect in return but, just to see a better person. And I think that is ultimately the best, what decides, if you should be with this person or not. Are they willing to see you get better daily, no matter how hard it hurts them? No matter how bad it hurts them, no matter how hard it gets for them. Are they willing to stay with you, work the ground, get dirty, to see you become a better person? Because ultimately that's what they need in order for your marriage to work out. That's what they need in the long run, because it's fine that she's beautiful, it's fine that she's attractive to me, but when we marry and I need somebody to help me raise my kids, that beauty ain't gonna do nothing. It's just gonna be a beautiful woman sitting on the couch, not doing nothing, not lifting a hand, not cooking, not helping me get kids ready. What are you here for?
Yeah.
You can leave if that's all you bring to the table. Like, I'm not here for that.
Yeah, basically courting is like the road to realness. Basically, it's like you can make a decision on whether you want to keep on doing what the world is doing, aka playing games, playing house, or do you want a real authentic life? Do you want realness? And even this is applicable to anybody really of any age, because I hear so many women who's like, well, I need to get married soon, you know, because my time is winding down and I gotta, it's like, what is that, you know? You need to get right with the Lord, because your time is winding down before He's gonna come back, you know, and get us. And that's all you gotta be worried about, you know. And so don't worry about, you know, what the world says your body clock got going on. That's not even relevant, you know. The whole goal is to make sure that your heart is right before the Lord, and to make sure that, you know, you are ready spiritually when God comes back. That's the only reason we're here. We're not here, you know, for courting. We're not here, you know, for this. This is all like extra stuff that He just gives us. Yeah. You know, extra things in the plan, but, you know.
Man, what you said, are you trying to get married because my biological clock is ticking, or, you know, I'm about to be this age. You trying to get married because you finna be a certain age is what got you there. So why would you keep doing that? I'll just stay on this same road. Like, I need to be married by this age. Okay, you get that age. All right, I need to be married by this age. You get that age, and you in the same cycle. I need to be married by this time. Yeah. And that's what's keep getting you there.
That's crazy.
And you gonna keep doing it? That's insanity. That's the definition of insanity.
And the thing is, you know, if you would settle yourself before the Lord, and if you would set your heart on Him, because the Bible talks about, you know, a woman who is unmarried, and a woman who, you know, is a virgin, a woman who is not basically a person who's unmarried. You know, their heart should be set on things of the Lord and pleasing the Lord in every way. You know, and then when you become married, then your heart becomes set on worldly things, and your heart can be set on, you know, pleasing your husband. But our problem is we're so set on, you know, trying to be somebody's wife and trying to be somebody, you know, everything, that we're missing the whole God part. Because if you don't have the God part, how you gonna be somebody's wife? How you gonna help somebody? You can't even help yourself, you know?
Can't be. And as a man, how you go lead somebody? You can't lead yourself. You being led your whole life you chasing women. How you gonna lead anything? All you've been known to do is chase. How you gonna lead? What you gonna lead? Nothing. You gonna lead them to somebody else's bed because you cheating on them. What?
That's really
get it right, man.
That's real.
Wake up, get it right. You ain't gotta do this. You ain't gotta be chasing women. You can really live a normal life. Cause like, even just how I met her, it wasn't like I wasn't chasing after her. Not saying that, you know, that you won't be introduced to your wife that way, like by taking the initiative and going up to her, you know, kind of chasing. But I wasn't chasing her. I really, you know, wasn't really doing anything. We were just friends. How we became friends was just random. Really, it wasn't random. It was God, but, you know, in the scheme of things, it seems really random. So, man, how can you lead anything if all you're known to do is chase?
Yeah.
How? You can't. And then you'll get married.
I've tried it both ways. You know, trying to do what I thought was best for myself and find who I thought was best for me, and kind of create this perfect life. Create a passable life, a life I can be okay with, you know, something. And, you know, it just doesn't work. You'll always find, you know, these places where it's just like, I'm still lacking, you know. And I'm not even married yet, but even in this courtship, like, I'm not, like, fulfilled by the courtship, but I'm so, like, it's so...
I know what you mean. It's like gratifying. It's like so fulfilling.
It's so healthy.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel so happy, you know, and content knowing that I'm doing it God's way. Like, this is right. Like, you know, before I was even born, when God wrote the plan for my life, this was it, you know? And I'm actually in it, and I'm actually dying to myself, and I'm actually pursuing God, and He's pleased with me. That's the best feeling ever. What? Not that I'm perfect by any stretch of the imagination, because I'm not. But, you know, to just allow yourself to be led by God, that's just so amazing. It's so amazing.
Yeah, and that's very, very real. Like, the benefits of doing things the way that God intended for them to do. You know, if the Bible says that the blessings of God, you know, make a virgin out of no sorrow, that is so true. Like, when you begin to do things the way that He asks you to, and He begins to bless you, like, you'll get you'll get into your courtship, and you know, yes, you're not always gonna be happy with the person, but you're gonna get into your disputes or, you know, disagreements, and you know, you might not always be happy, but there's really no area where you really just get down here like, why am I in this anymore?
I don't want to make this video too long.
It's already long.
Okay.
But I know.
I said too. Yeah. Save something for the next time.
Yeah.
But, you know, rewatch this video. Pause it. Bring it back. Skip it.
Ask questions.
And really just, you know, ask questions for understanding, clarity. Look into the Bible. You know, find out what we're saying is the truth.
I'm wrong.
Really
Tell me.
study it. Like, you know, get into it. If this is where your heart is right now, if this is something that you're interested in, really, if you watch all the way to this video, it's something about it that you know, whatever. Unless you just love looking at us. But, you know, it's time to turn up, you know. It's time to just, you know, be real, for real, and not this worldly real, but a real, you know. And no more games.
Yeah.
Hashtag no more games. That's our thing now. Don't take it.
No more games.
That's our thing. Hashtag no more games. July 21st, 2016, Hannah Cam said it. Hashtag no more games.
I'm not playing. I don't know about y'all, but I'm done. Like, I refuse to have my life not be what it's supposed to be. I refuse to miss out on things here because of me. And I refuse to let the devil have me, my kids, my marriage, my wife, my business, my ministry, anything. I refuse. So really, no more games. I'm not playing. I'm really not. I refuse to let that happen. Not saying that I'm perfect or that I don't mess up or that I won't mess up, but I'm not playing games.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I refuse. And so I hope, you know, this in some type of way encouraged y'all, you know, to realize that this is something that you can do as well. This is not something that a select few people can do. No, this is something for everybody.
This is for you.
This is something that everybody's supposed to be doing. So, you know, I encourage you to, you know, try it out. You know, what can it hurt? Try it. Exactly.
Y'all can always hit us up for questions, for talking, prayer, whatever. We open. We here for the people. So yeah, we love y'all. Thanks for watching. You know, share with somebody who might need it. Share with somebody who don't need it. Like, subscribe, whatever.
All that.
Hit us up. We love y'all, and you've been just watching us fight for the final marriage.
I like that. You've been watching us fight for the final marriage, and you can do it too.